right. So this Chris Godwin article that who wrote that?
Dan Pompei.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about this. All I got basically is the gist about Godwin turned down $30 million from the Patriots, which, by the way, if as we told you all along during that saga, I told you he's going to get a big offer from somebody else, and he's not a money guy. He's not going to be driven by money, and he's going to stay with the Buccaneers. So how much are we talking about here?
Yeah, so honestly, this is more than I thought Chris actually would have gotten offered. But if you're the Patriots, you've struggled to find wide receiver help for years. So Chris said that they offered him $30 million per year on a multi-year deal. The other team that was at the forefront of the interest for him was the Steelers, who obviously eventually acquired DK Metcalf and paid him more than $30 million actually. So the Buccaneers' best offer was the 3-year, $66 million, which is $22 million per season. Godwin's agent had told him that he would be leaving generational money on the table if he had passed up on the Patriots' offer. And it's noted here that the opinion that mattered the most to Godwin was his wife, Mariah's. And they went over everything. And it's noted here that, some players play for money, for glory, for ego, and Godwin plays for other reasons. And obviously he's built an entire life right here. He's obviously been with his wife, Mariah, I think since they were in the 8th grade, actually. It's a great love story. And, playing with Mike was a big part of this too. And it's not lost on him. He says that what they have built together and the run that they've had together is not exactly common. You just don't see that. We've talked about this a lot, to have two receivers like this together of their caliber play for so long, and neither one of them a diva. And he even mentions, one of his, I think maybe his second or third year in the league, when he was sort of still finding his footing and he was getting all these targets and everything. And not once did Mike ever pull the card of like, I'm the number one on this team. I'm supposed to be getting all these targets. It never happened. It never has happened to this day. These guys are both selfless, but he decided to stay. And I think it just speaks so much that we've talked about what the Bucs have built here. And now you can also point out $30 million annually in Massachusetts is a little different than, once you put the taxes into it, it actually is a lot closer to the $22 million that he would have gotten in Tampa Bay. So I'm sure that closes the gap quite a bit. But honestly, I know the Patriots might have an up and up future or whatever, but Tampa Bay right now is right there in a Super Bowl window. He's already won a Super Bowl here. The organization loves him. He loves being in Tampa. I mean, to me, I was never really concerned that Chris Godwin was going to go anywhere else, and this just affirmed.
No, but can we acknowledge that this doesn't happen other places for the most part? It just doesn't. It doesn't happen in the wide receiver room, especially, and it doesn't happen just in general. And what the Bucs, you guys might get tired about us talking about culture, but this is what they have built. And Todd Bowles, yes, absolutely gets credit for that, but so does Jason Light, so does the entire organization, the Glazers especially. A lot of this comes from ownership, right?
Yeah.
And and they love Chris Godwin. They want him to be a lifetime Buccaneer. But they also, all these guys are coming together for the collective. Like everybody's like, with next year you're gonna pay Baker $60 million. No, we're not.
Yeah, and I love. There's another great excerpt in here, and this is more than just about Chris. But listen to this. I thought this was really cool. It says Mayfield. This is from the article. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin, along with their spouses, are a part of a group of Bucs and former Bucs who get together for regular game nights. Others include Cam Brate, Ryan Griffin, Anthony Nelson, Kate Otten, and their wives. They play fishbowl, taboo, mafia, spade. They eat, share, laugh, and bond. And when they play games, they don't text, scroll social media, or watch videos. They are present with one another, and they are competitive. I mean, if you're Jason, like you're reading that, and it's like he gets to go to bed every single night, and not have to worry about what his star players are doing. I mean,
and this isn't luck.
If you want to find entertainment, and I mean like extracurricular entertainment, I think you know what I mean. On Del Mabry, you could find it, and it doesn't seem like these players are really interested in that.
No, and it's one of the reasons that Bruce Arians didn't want to bring AB in, but was forced to by Brady, and it's not by accident. They are, as Jason Light told us on this show, at least 20 guys he took off his board this year. And that's not out of the 1,200. We're talking about 20 guys out of probably, 150, which is a large percentage that they just took off their board. And that's at least. He said it's probably higher than that. So you're looking at probably 30 guys out of 150 that he just took off his board because of character issues, not good teammates, not serious about football, all that stuff. That's why they have the culture that they have, because they don't bring in people that don't get it. And Jason has been very open about having, he made a lot of those mistakes early on in his career, but he has fine-tuned his process, and his team has fine-tuned their process to go really find these guys. They do a lot of background work on them to find out who they are and what they are. And this is what you get. You get this kind of leadership. Now, they've already won one Super Bowl, but I think a lot of that, is kind of a Brady thing, right? A lot of the credit goes to, even though it's, it was way more than just him. That's why I want this so bad for Baker Mayfield. I want it so bad for Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all these guys who have taken less money, and the Tristan Wirfs and all of them, to just, to get that final validation that, nice guys can win, Leo DeRocher. Great culture. You can win with, and not that these guys are, quote, choir boys. They're just not, they're not assholes and douchebags, to use Jason Light's terms. They're not assholes and douchebags. And the league is full of them. The league is absolutely full of them. And so is the media, by the way. So it's I'm not casting aspersions on just the NFL. So it's a great testament. And I love these stories, and I love to hear the human side of this. And it just, it warms my heart, because you can root for these guys, man. You can really root for them. Now, OTAs start up again tomorrow. These are mandatory. I expect to see Hassan Reddick there. If he's not, I will be shocked.
Everybody's been freaking out about the fact that he wasn't there, I guess, for the voluntaries.
We've talked about it. I'm not freaking out about it. We've talked about it, and I'd rather him be there. Learning his teammates, learning the culture, learning the playbook. But whatever, it's not critical.
He's done this a lot throughout his career.
Right, exactly.
I think it's because of everything that happened last year with the Jets is why everybody has raised eyebrows to it. But I think that's fair. It doesn't sound like the organization's worried about it. So I'm not going to be. I don't think this is going to be a Randy Gregory situation where he just goes AWOL.
Hell no.
I don't think it's going to be that. Hassan Reddick, at the end of the day, these guys are all competitors. And you think Hassan Reddick doesn't have a sour taste in his own mouth about everything that happened last year? You think he enjoyed the fact that he had his worst season as a pro last year with everything that happened? No. He's 30 years old. He is playing under a 1-year contract, which if he performs like he was up until last year is going to be a big bargain. He wants to get paid again. It probably won't be the Bucs who pay him, but he wants to get paid again. One final contract for the rest of his career, probably. And so he has a lot of motivation to get his ass to mandatory minicamp and to show out this season for a team that I think has opened up their Super Bowl window. So if he's not there tomorrow when this thing kicks off, I will be completely shocked.
Yeah, I agree totally. And we'll be all over it, all over OTAs this week. So we'll have more Bucs content for you as we go through the week.